So everything works probably. So hello, I'm Dmitry. Glad to see you today. And is it working? So that should work. Okay. Okay. So what I will sculpt today is this rocaille. I do not know will we do it today or not. I do not exactly like it at the moment, and as always, so that's the search, but I have a deadline today for this one, and so I've got from the client this example. I do not want to repeat it entirely, and another proportion on the wall, and it is actually huge. So if we have this, so this is 2.5 meters wide. So I want to add some details, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, and that's not too much of place for the because of it's huge, but will be on the wall, so I'm not quite sure I could make it bumpy, just because I have so I think that this one is inside of the wall, and that one will, I don't know, will it be, or do I have a room for the placing it inside, or don't have. So anyway, this is what I'm going to build it, and I wanted to make it in slightly more baroque or kind of that. So I started to work from the sketch, of course. So we could have a look at this one. So I had started from the sketch. The sketch more dynamic, more active than what I've got finally. Don't know why, and don't know how to bring it back. I mean, the dynamic which is here, so that's kind of the same here, the same there, but not exactly the same. And also I do not understand this head yet, so that's kind of, and slightly I did this sketch, and now I think maybe make something closer to the original sketch, but okay, that's, and I needed to make fast because that's just a proposal, and the payment is just symbolic. Somebody paid just for some amount of money he considered. Oh, that's perfect. He considered it as something he could lose easily. So let's restart it then. Okay, so nobody in chat. I never watch it anyway. So here we have. Let's start from it. Recovery tool. So place it here. Oh my gosh. Okay. Save us. So I'm sorry, that's not my guild. Okay, so we are back here. So I do not know what will it be in the volume. So I wanted to have an activity and kind of dynamics in it, and I want it to be baroque, although the original one isn't. So that's my preferences, and maybe the client will not accept it, but I'll try to give the proposal in this style. So what the rocaille is, what the rocaille is. So rocaille. It's called. Okay, French probably half half of the word word will not be pronounced. So that is it is. You see here this one example, great. So here that's kind of decorative elements here, those behind, and that's so those from both sides, this one, yes, but they are mostly more versatile in their anatomy, so there are examples when the rocaille so developed. Probably I could find here some example. Yeah, like that one. So you see, it is almost one something and without the almost without the anatomy. So, but in the same time, you see here the elements like toes, and like toes, and that's something. By the way, worth of repeating. Let's take this one as example. So that's the kind of goal, but in the same time I want it to be fast. I mean the sculpting itself, so I want the sculpting to be fast, so I want it to be just more thinking about the form, the shape, than about the details, and in the same time looking baroque. And so that's, don't know, will we get this goal today or will not. So the general shape where I have started, yes, that's interesting also for the understanding of myself as well. So I started from the pretty simple straight shape. I've looked for the dynamic, and I started from something like that. So I just have chosen this one, and it was already kind of a form shape, which is and then I started to define. I've checked this left right as always, but the general form, the general shape is kind of that. So this is just, and then I started to define the details inside of it, trying to keep this dynamic. So I think the dynamic in my case killed by the lack of movement at the top hand, top one, and maybe also. So you see all the elements here anyway quite standard for this style. Okay, for this style, so I just want to sculpt a bit here, so that first I thought that, so I didn't know the scale before. I didn't know the, oh, I'm sorry, I promised to you to show the script. Oh, let's yeah, here, I'm sorry. So let's postpone it for a while. So this one, I mean, okay, I want to press it slightly up. Anyway, so let's finish this one, and then not this one at all, but I mean up in here the inner part. So 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 yeah, I haven't done that. I mean, up to the finish. But and maybe what I will tell you about that script will be too much. No, maybe if I will do the topology by hand, it will be faster. But I want to achieve, you know, the automation, so the simplification uh, of the building and such a decorative element like scrolls, volutes, and sometimes the hardest thing for me at least in ZBrush sculpting is kind of long and thin lines. Okay, so if you doing sculpting of something like, if you have a look at the Baroque, something like, okay, that volute. Okay, so let's bigger something. Let's have a look at bigger Baroque. So there's no bigger, maybe here. Okay, here. So I'm sorry. So those lines are the challenges. You know, those lines like this one, so coming from here and long enough to get it. You know, it is not with this one. It is not hard them to make at once, but it's hard them to make precise as you wish when you started to add detailization. When you started to add detailization, it became extremely painful. So if you want that facet here that's getting more and more, this one, so this one as well, so those long shapes, those are for me quite a challenge. And so yeah, sometimes yes, you could take the mesh and somehow scroll it, but you will not achieve the exact. So yeah, if you will just you know that there are tools like scrolling, like okay, I'm sorry, like boom 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 boom. How I almost don't never use it, so hard to remember. Yeah, the spiral one. So we could, yeah, and we have this edge, perfect edge. But if you want to define that edge further, you know, to add here some facet or something like that, so it is looks quite natural, you know, when it is done. But to add something to it or to achieve, or for example this one, so this one is simple, we could work with it easy. So that's what makes me mad a bit, those scrolls, and that's why I want to add the script, which will work. So let's have a look. Load. Okay. And so yeah, what I've got so far is just that simple topology. Okay, and that simple topology, and it is quite follow the shape. And what we have here as a result, okay, and yes, well, we have here the part of this decorative element here, and yes, and this one element. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating here the profile. So yeah, first of all, I have here the simplified the simplified, let's maybe we could hide it. Simplified, just contours, and I used them to rail. It is much more, it's okay to be much more convenient. Okay, then I'm finding like previous example, the rails, this one and this one, so we could hide. Okay, and I'm smoothing it slightly, so it is quite good if you have a look at the top, so that the shape is, so this follow and this follow each other and quite accurate. Then what I'm doing here is so yeah, that's so the options I have here. Let's have a look at the options. So then I created this mesh, and we have here options, so we could somehow define the resolution in one direction. So yes, yeah, the resolution one direction, and resolution in the second direction resolution managed by the profile I use. And profile here, you see what I'm doing as in the previous example. Again, I have this mesh. Okay, I have this mesh, and I have here 3 points defined in one profile when I want to make cross section, another cross section. So 2 cross section I'm doing here, and I'm placing them at the just some comfortable place. So placing them here, and another one is, so this one, and another one is this one. Then I'm drawing by hand this shape, which will be polygonal mesh, and then I'm creating that mesh here. Okay, and it is pretty close to the original one, because I'm using something close to the profile. At the same time, I have here, you see, I have here this edge, this facet here. It's became bigger, slowly it became bigger. It's getting bigger and bigger. And here I have, so let's hide the rails. Here it became smaller. So I could define profile further, and I want to add here inside another stripe. So to have here that's for filling of something filled between two borders, two edges. So the profile will define profile further, and that's actually why I had started to do everything to define the profile. And because when you are doing zero measure ignore almost entirely. So you could draw some directional lines, but it will not ignore, for example, this part of sculpting. So I just, and so here that I have this perfect mesh, so we could hide it. And something wrong here, probably because I'm using this smaller rail. So if I will use the bigger one, maybe everything will be here will be more accurate. But I fixed it. It's relatively easy. So it's relatively easy to fix it in polygonal. So, and you have here this I showed you. Okay, this facet, Okay, and we could now, okay, no, okay, so here crease it, complete, so crease, 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 and crease, and we, I'm sorry, and that's almost, so something should be slightly moved somewhere, maybe some, but anyway, so we have here this transformation of edge, and slightly maybe because that's low polygonal, so we could fix this relatively easy. So, and by the way, there is an approach to fixing it. So just, so yeah, that's kind of, so just move it slightly, that's okay. Just move it slightly, and what I have here also, that's why this happened, also important to show, because there's an option. First of all, I'm doing the transformation between this profile to this profile, but I'm doing this transformation not from the start to the end, but from some point to some other point. So, and if we move this slider, we that's what exactly happened here. So this is I'm moving here the place where the new approach started. So it is simply to show like that. So this is, we have this one and we have this one. Okay, the green one selected, and that's the green one is transitional one, and this one, you see, we have so we have the transition between, so this one just this profile, and this one is transitional one, and what we have seen there as well. So there is the changing in the scale of the, so we could manage the transformation. So transformation could get faster, slower, so kind of shape of transformation. So ideal one, the linear transformation from this point to that wide one, more narrow. Okay, and I've used this one, so that's why we had such fast changing. So I just haven't noticed that. Okay, maybe linear isn't bad, but so that's the tool at this stage. Just have created a simple mesh for railing, editable, easy editable mesh like this one, and pretty simple. Okay, this object, and I used it as a railing. Then I have done some cross section. Okay, here cross sections here, yellow, and then I started to create this loft object with two variation, with transformational from one profile to another one and without transformation. So I hope this tool will be useful further on for creating something like very typical decorative elements like those with changing profile during the evolvement, and maybe I will use it later and will show you how does it work. So that's all. So but now today I need this one to do pum, 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 pum. Yeah, transparent solar. So I feel like this two plane. Okay. Preferences, draw. I usually use a pretty small dynamic size because I often work with large scale models. I need some detail sculpting, and I need this one smaller to be. But because of that, I'm changing that parameter regularly. So here we have slightly. So keep this one unchanged. So as always, as I've been told before, and I still think that that main volume is the most important, and the low volume, which will be read from far, is the most important part for the sculpting of decorative elements. So I'm relatively bold with deleting previous sculpting. So I've changed this before today because I felt like I've checked the real size sculpted before, so the ZBrush have a limited ability to measure anything. So I've checked that the thickness, so it was around 100 millimeters, the thickest part, and I've decided, okay, there is room to add a bit. So now it's getting better. So I did it, and I've created the accent here at the bottom. So considering that the bottom should be heavier than top. Okay, so as always, I'm using separate smoothing for the peak and valley, again to control what and where it is. So to having better control over that. So that's what we have here. So we have here our. So probably as I have a look at the sketch, at the old picture, I am thinking right now that I have not enough thin edges, so more accents, so more, and this one also does not have an accent, does not have a movement, so kind of, yeah. So let's try to add it to it. Okay, so let's just want to see what the direction I will use later on. So that's just a visualization. of. So also interesting, I want to tell you a story. I've been sculpting mantle, not so far, real one in the from the plasticine. So and what was I didn't have an idea what to do. I have spent a lot of times and I was already, you know, kind of, and that was something like a restoration, but restoration of my own work. So I was had somehow freedom, but I didn't want it to redo it entirely, just because of it's time consuming. As I figured out later, it was anyway hard. So I sculpted some elements trying to keep others untouched, and that's could be fast, slow, and hard to achieve the final result. So and finally, when I was already, you know, desperate, I scanned and did fast sculpting with that scan, and you know, practically immediately, I found the solution. After, you know, because of the freedom of that this tool, and I could show you probably. No, okay. Yes, that's awful scan. And so the scan was pretty fast one, and what I had here was this one, and I, you know, could not find here the solution, because, you know, here there is no division between there is division between this fold and this fold, but here I do not like the line which created here. That's, and when I started to sculpting, I've almost immediately come to the solution. So this one here, just those go out, and that one and here. So because of that, yeah, because of that, you know, in the plasticine it was also hard one. It's what the cold weather was at that time. Now it is not, but and here I just take this down standard brush and press it like that, and immediately realized, oh, that's what was not what was needed. That's what was why I, and finally, so I built it like that. So that strange, yeah, that was that metaphors from that part to this part was the most difficult for me somehow. So that's what we have here, and so I'm getting like it, by the way, and so that's enough. So this plane here just to control the thickness. It is not the plane, the base plane, it is the thickness or minimal thickness for the model. Although it is sketch, but even for the sketch, I want to be sure that it is feasible. So add here an accent. So and this one follows here. This one is a kind of answer, and that's answer. That answer here is much active, more active than there. So let's try to do it here as well. So do this active shape, this and that's so that's looks of it's coming from that part. So that's coming from the outside. Yeah, it's getting better. So it's coming from that, and maybe that exactly what was necessary to. So here we have an average, just slightly more active. So that's looking like a shell is the important part of the rocaille design, and that's the most important and the most beautiful, and the most hard for me is this, you know, everything here sculpted, touched, and having the direction into some certain way. That's very beautiful. There's some subtle details here. I admire this work, and what is more important, you know, this is almost certainly, I think even certainly made here from the plaster. It was not sculpted in the plasticine. I don't know, maybe at that time they did the model in the clay to copy like we do now for the carving. Maybe, I don't know, maybe. But definitely it was made on this place, because there were no casting material at that time. So the real Baroque was made so far that there were no ability to cast it. So it was practically the same as was fresque. I mean what the painting on the wall. It was also made fast. The fresque. Fresque. No, that's not the word. Not fresque. Mural. Yeah, mural. So the murals were made until the plaster get dry. So you put plaster, and until it is dry. Oh no, it is not getting dry. You should have it finished. Okay, that was at that time. So that was at that time, and that was, you know, like they sculpt and like they draw, and now that's how they and that maybe at that time also how they sculpted as well. So almost, not maybe, it's definitely so. So it was made just there on them. So let's define what's hard here is that although it is kind of free, okay, it has the general direction. So and it should keep it anatomy, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe keep it there. Direction. So it is actually the same idea as acanthus has. So I've showed you before the acanthus. If you remember, if you don't, I will recommend to have a look at the previous streams. So when we draw acanthus leaf, we have this kind of accent showing the direction of and the gain here we have. Okay, so showing the direction, so demonstrating. And here is the same. So here we have this one, we have this one showing that accent, and this one showing that. And so I definitely like this idea of showing here the edge. And the edge coming from somewhere there, so somewhere far. Yeah, I definitely like it. So, and to have this shell opened, so that's that's what. So this one is coming from there, this one is that one. So here we have so as I said before, in ZBrush sometimes it is better to sculpt deeper and then adding some volume, than trying to get a sharper edge between two volumes. Because yeah, you see here we have two volumes and the sharp edge between them, and that's getting simpler to show it like that, to get it like that, than trying to carve. So I'm doing fast and not too much thinking about the details, although the details should be here some kind of, but I'm keeping control over the anatomy. I mean, I'm still thinking about this line, even when I'm sculpting those abstract shapes. Okay, and so here we have, it's getting slower. Okay, and we have here, okay, so will I finish this today? I do not know. So something like that, and here we have one volume for that one, so one volume for that one. Okay, and this part coming, what is often when the such design is done. So for the what is typical for the this type of rocaille is that when you show in the back part, which out there, you are sculpting something different. Okay, so this and this is what I mean by that is that this you saw here those lines, those stripes, those shell shapes. I'm trying to, and there are here, and there are there is here as well, but they are here in another way, with another accent, with another saturation. Oh, I'll check the. Is there anybody? Is there anybody? Yeah, yes, there. So guys, if you have questions, ask. If you have questions, ask. Don't hesitate. Actually, what I'm doing here is my working stream, so I will anyway do this work. So I will anyway sitting here and sculpting. So just take the advantage of have a even if I will not answer today because I'm not so controlling the chat, but anyway, I will answer later, for example. Okay, so and probably this one I also want to be in this direction, and this one also is something what coming from the back side, so this one is coming from there. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got so far. So I like this accent. I like this accent, I like this. That's quite look authentical, not authentical, so but close enough. Okay, so somehow awkward enough, and you know, I do not know what the client liked about the previous one, and because of and I think maybe he liked the pearl here. You see here in the shell there is. Oh, I'm sorry, somebody calling me. So wait a moment, please. It is important. Where's my phone? By the way, it is here. Да нет, я не забыл телефон. I'm sorry. So that's the work. So да, привет. Да ничего, все хорошо, режется там. Черновая вся вырезалась, чистовую сегодня ставлю. Вот, все нормально, в понедельник будет. Подшивка. Да, сегодня ты имеешь в виду Данила, да? Артема. Что тяжеловато? Угу. Ну да. Ну слушай, ну а как еще? Надо, они нарисовали такой. Ага. Угу. 150 плоскости? Ого, плоского части по 150. В стене толщину, все-таки толщину 15 миллиметров, да? Ага. 200 по стене. Вот плоской части сколько? Вот плоской части. Ого, ну хорошо. Вот. Ну вообще, конечно, да, чем больше запас, тем лучше в данном случае, потому что... Угу. 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 Хорошо, я понял приблизительно. Вот. Да. Слушай, ну я думаю, они сейчас, наверное, ничего не скажут, потому что, ну, во-первых, были праздники, во-вторых, ну, только-только приехали. Угу. Слушай, ну если будет бугристый, значит они будут вышпаклевываться к нашей лепке. Ну да. Угу. Угу. Ну, в целом, да, да. Угу. Угу. Слушай, ну проблема, ну на самом деле, конечно, проблема исключительно в том, что стыковка стены и стыковка. Ну, то есть, если падугу вы тогда не смогли замазать. Ну, это да, конечно, тоже. Слушай, ну вот как раз то, о чем мы сейчас разговаривали на форуме этих самых левчиков. Как раз ровно об этом. О том, что они там тянут по 60, а мы тут тянем по 30. Ну. Угу. Ну, кстати, да, литые сделать тоже хороший вариант. Да, безусловно. Угу. 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 Да. Да. Ну да, да, согласен. Угу. Слушай, ну можно из пенопласта, да, можно из пенопласта сделать, в принципе. Угу. Ну да. Не, ну тянуть, конечно, если тянуть по... Ну, мы так не будем, конечно. Вот. Но так как тянуть, как я тянул по пенопласту, то тоже получается... ну что там 3 миллиметра? Знаешь, одна заводка. Раз, положил и все. Сложности же в чем начинается? Что когда вот эти 3 сантиметра, 5 сантиметров гипса начинают расти, они растут не так, как 3-миллиметровый слой. Вот. Да, поэтому вот когда вот только вот как я ноги делал, коры вот эти большие. Угу. Вот. Но я и на гипсокартоне тоже тянул. Правда, давно очень, но тянул. То есть я брал, наламывал гипсокартон полосками. Ну, так вот, как они делают, когда делают, ну, гнутые. Выкладывал его в подложку и сверху делал тонюсенький слой. Ну, конечно, с арматурой, с сеткой. Сетка была спереди и сзади. Отлично вообще, крепкая штука получилась. Ну да. Да. Нет, толщина, да, толщину надо добавить, да, безусловно. Да, хорошо, хорошо. Угу. I'm sorry. So anyway, I haven't stopped sculpting. So that's interesting question. I mean, where to stop? When to stop? When it is enough? We are speaking about the fast work, fast sketch, something what just concept sketching. Okay, and receiving. So let's have a look at, yeah, okay. Okay, and what we've got, yeah, that's why I'm started to think about where to stop, because I actually want to finish and want to stop myself from the drawing, sculpting it. So, and what to do, where to define, where to understand what it is, and what the great result, what the result you want to achieve, and what maybe you already achieved that result, or maybe it is already what you wanted. That's enough. And interesting. So I don't know how people stay stopping when they do fast sketching. If you know way to say, actually, it's interesting. Anyway, so that's what we've got so far. Okay, and so yeah, probably the main problem was with this one, and that when we sculpted this one, we've got almost everything looking better almost immediately. So that was stop for a while, have a time for relax. So maybe it's time to check out some renderings, some of the fast sketching renderings. In this version of ZBrush there is a standard, how they called it, render sets. Yeah, render sets. Let's have a look at how, yeah, that's great. But not enough details for the too rude but impressive. Not too simple. Kind of that maybe. We have accent here, they're showing a general shape, in the same time it is kind of subtle, and maybe kind of that will be enough. Maybe so. Okay, let's then work on edges, so make some edges more accentuated. Probably will be interesting. Those are rendered very well, so why? Let's define it. So why? So yeah, it's just sharper, that's why. So second time, and only 430,000 of polygons. Okay. Okay, now boom, 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 boom. I do not need history, that's why I'm doing this. Do not need history here at the moment, so I like it, I like it, I like it. And so edges probably solve for us almost everything. So if we will add some edges, some sharper edges, so that will give us an undesirable appearance. So let's add the edges. Some of them in some beautiful manner, I don't know, like like here and there, sometimes from this time, sometimes from this. So let's to give it more accurate view, and somehow I don't know, have this one switch. Okay, is that here? That's what I like. And here also maybe have a more sharper, more have sharper. Okay, and even smaller. So I'm not so great in Baroque actually. That's I love it, but and I did a few sculptings in my life of Baroque, but do not consider myself as a professional in this. Although I love it very much. So this more typical for the carving, okay, and because covers when people carving they do use chisel. Chisel has a constant chisel has constant diameter, constant, so you could not it could not change its diameter during the carving. So for that reason I'm doing here the same. So the settings, I've told it before, the settings of this brush not so strong in changes of the diameter of the size of the brush. So the brush of this size almost fixed. Okay, so that's what we have here, and Yeah, I'm just trying to accentuate some elements to start. I have some here uncertainties. Okay, that's what the reason. So that's why. So I think it's time to reduce polygons slightly. So first of all, I did a mistake, and plus maybe there are spare a few. There is a few spare. So decimation, no, decimation. So let's decimate it down to 150. Usually it's safe. Yeah, that's okay. So having here, okay, and this one, I actually haven't defined this one quite well. Okay, interesting how will it looks on the wall. Rather thick one, and so not enough activity here. I mean, this one only looks like it is active, but it is actually just a curve, not three-dimensional one. Now it is. Okay, here we oops, too much. So maybe I'm doing this and I'm not sure that will be visible in a render. So let's check again. So I want to check how this changed after I started to define edges. How this affected that, because the final goal is to make a fast sketch. So, and I want to give it to client. Maybe in handmade it will be better, like hand drawing, So that's. So at least it is quite baroque. Boom. So yes. What time is it? Okay. Kicks not. Render sets. Okay, which one have we tested? This one was active one, and it hasn't changed a lot. And we've used another one somehow. Which one? I do not remember at all. Yeah, yeah, that's. Imagine that thing of 2 meters and half wide. That's no, something more subtle. We needed something slightly more subtle. Yeah, like that, for example. Like that, for example. I have tested it already. Yes, probably this one. Which one is your favorite? Do you use them at all? So beautiful, but and kind of leaving the general shape only. That's great, and that's actually what I want, to leave here only the general, the understanding of, but no more than that. That's what I actually want. To not give it kind of impressions only. So maybe let's do something what is not at the right condition right now. So just so that's often happened. I mean, the the some part of rocaille became kind of a canvas. That's quite common. So sometime, you know, that's it is actually here as well. So if we have a look here, so yes, you see it is rocaille, and then it is became, oh, here is not this element interesting. So yeah, I need so to add some elements, some more. So I'm doing something like that mostly. Okay, but so here, oh, here we go. So that's kind of work. That's interesting that sometimes it is better to leave your work for a while, and then when you back you see the most important thing to do, because I've been thinking that one is important, and then was back and see that I just actually want to fix another one. So okay, here we have this type of, and here we could even create some additional holes here, kind of. I've been listening a podcast, and the guy constantly saying some no, it wasn't podcast. It was a lesson from Unreal about the Alchemist. No, Unreal. Alchemist. Unreal. Oh, I don't know. But anyway, all the time the guy said kind of, yeah, Unreal. Automotive renderings for automotive. Yeah, and he constantly saying, repeatedly saying, kind of. So I want to get kind of, yeah. How I understand him. So I also want to use this all the time. Kind of, so that's kind of, yeah, it's not exactly that, just a kind of, because I'm doing fast sculpting here. Okay, so that's kind of. This one will accentuate. We will accentuate it, definitely. So, and we'll dive here deeply slightly. Where is this? Here, dive here deeply slightly. Okay. Because it is not yet Baroque, but kind of. here as well. So that's we've gotten so far, so that's great as well. So here we have again that style of leaf. So it is a canthus here. It's more canthus than rocaille. But could not get the right size. Yeah, and here we have again all those elements. So coming here with this idea, so accentuate here some oops, and we have here as well. So I will prefer to have kind of to have here the not exactly the acanthus finish, but more like looking like a rocaille. Okay. And by the way, when I will sculpt it, if I will sculpt it, if the client will accept the sketch, probably it will be even more detailed. I actually want it. Yeah, actually, you know, sometimes you do not have access to the client. You could not speak with him. You could not make him ill of what you are, you know, kind of. And just because of some guys, they are afraid that I will take or somebody else will take the order, the client, because they feel probably themselves fragile. They do not know how to sculpt, they do not know how to do a job well. But you know, if I wanted to looking for clients, I will do it. But I love to sculpting, so I love to not looking for, not, you know, chatting, not, but sitting and doing a job I like. So let's check the render again. So that's getting more aggressive, I see now. What render we have used last one? This one, yes? Yes, I do like it. I do like to use it in the future as well. Though not enough detail, but we could try to emphasize them. Let's add here the edge of kind of rocaille. Okay, and let's start to do job with this part, and somehow, so this one will be something like not a canthus leaf, but the rocaille. Okay, so yeah, I don't want it to be a canthus. Okay, so we have here that feeling of interesting. Is it possible to request a brush changes in to ZBrush, because there are a few options I need for the brush, and there's just no them, and nobody knows ever will be ever. So pretty close to that finishing. Again, here we have an element here, kind of rocaille again. So let's go here. So what we have here is also okay. That's getting more and more interesting. So let's consider this one. My family started to watch me. Interesting. Also, nobody have seen anything what I'm doing for many years, because of I have mostly private clients. Some of them even under NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Some of them actually, that's non-disclosure agreement do not correlate it to the client's size, to the client. You know, some of them just do not like the live show it, that's all, without any particular reason. They even could not explain that, just do not like. So let's do here the same what we have done there, emphasizing the edges. So here as well, so more solid, more looking like some actually accidental. Oh, they are even not visible. I did them and they are not visible. They are in shadow. So maybe with another rendering setup it will be visible. So for this plain shape like this one, it is actually not easy to find a good visualization in ZBrush. So what I didn't like about this right now, why I started to change it, is it was too plain, and I've carved slightly to give it more, you know, not just so, to give it more bumpy. No, that's more rounded shape. So that's what we have. That's what I like, and that's what I. So let's shifter just to check. So yeah, you see, we have beautiful accents around that, and intrigue and somehow playful. In the same time, we have a theme, stripes inside. and some kind of shadow. So that's great, I like it. So you have this one leaf, and probably we are done. Okay, so here I want to demonstrate, not to you, but that's what's going on here. So I want to demonstrate the back part of the leaf. Okay, so this is coming from that from the outside. So I don't want to keep it like that unreadable. So something like we have no idea what is this, kind of that feeling. And this one is the edge of our rocaille, so that's rocaille. In Russian we read every letter, so I'm sorry, so that's why. Okay. Okay, and now make it sharper slightly. Okay, and that's what we have here, and maybe this one also to make it sharper. That's kind of unknown feature. I mean, it should look like unknown feature at the moment, but in the same time baroque enough. How to achieve this look? Interesting question. That's, by the way, what the last ornamentation lacks. I mean, it is everything very well defined. There's no something what is hidden, so something unsaid, something in plaster. In wood carving, maybe contemporary guys found this way. So, but in wood carving, I've seen some examples, probably. Not sure. But even if we have here this baroque rocaille, oh, where is this classical one? Okay, this one. So everything is what it is. This scroll, this edge, so this line, this canvas created from probably this. So this one, I like it very much. Maybe we need it somewhere. Maybe here even. Here. That's what we needed. So this is an answer originally conceived. And so yes, that's what have I said? I like, does looks terrifying a bit, but okay. Let's consider them to be like that terrifying stuff. And how we will finish it then? Here it is just rotating, but we could not. We should do something else. I mean, there should be feeling of rotating, but so so deeper, yeah. Okay, so that's great. I like it very much. So we have got that's great result. And here, don't know why, but I wanted to go out like that. So feel it and make it more getting out of this feeling than just, yeah, the shape follows the shape demanding here, that shape demanding here. So that's so kind of who is sculptor. I do not know, maybe not I am. So yes, we have here quite well defined shadows. So and yes, and this part as well as that one, some kind of acanthus, but not exactly acanthus. So something like that. So and those also both are of different direction. This one is going like spill out of the rocaille, and this one kind of goes up, kind of, okay, not kind of, but sometimes it's hard to avoid, so the words you, but it's probably even kind of, yeah, maybe that's right, because sometimes when you speak in real life it is not kind of, but here it is really kind of, it is not like this one, it is like that, like this one, kind of this one. So yeah, here. So to better understand the anatomy of what's going on here, yeah, that's why I'm doing so fast. So, not so fast, okay, so that's already 2 hours, but I mean, I know the anatomy, I know what item I want to create here and why, and I know because of that I know what to sculpt, how to sculpt, so that's kind of things. So this one is almost done. Almost done. I do believe it is practically. So I want to mirror it. I'm sorry. So that's still well. That still works well. So that still works well. That's great. Do you check your work with mirroring? Mirroring, 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 mirroring. So almost done, almost there, almost there. So I will use here another approach to sculpting. So I like this move brush sometime. I was asked that I do not use it, so yeah, I almost do not use it, but I like it sometime for the some type of work. So that's the acanthus leaf sculpted that way looks quite natural. So it's getting natural looks, like when you, instead of sculpting, move it slightly. Okay, so here let's try. There's a brush, I like it, it gives sometimes great result, but and I want some fast movement here. Yeah, yes, something like that. So here we will have particular lines here, and we will have this one underscoring our dynamics, and here it's come from the this perpendicular lines, and as I remember, yes, I wanted this one be empty and that one saturated. So let's try to. Okay. No, probably. So by the way, not bad idea to put here perpendicular lines. So almost done. I do like at the moment this one, so do like this one, so this one, so we have here some strange situation when perpendicular line coming to the horizontal, but but it's coming anyway. It looks quite natural. So how it's coming, it looks quite natural. So I want slightly here. Oh, slightly here to oops, to give it more accent. Okay, to give it more shadow here. So anatomically I'm happy. Further on, just to give it some beauty, some this one. So I wanted probably to give more accent. Yeah, I didn't get this feeling to it, but maybe. Oh. Oi, oi, oi. To... Ah, okay. That brush has its own settings for the sculptures. So I'm put here an edge. And here. Okay, so that's what we have here, and now slightly more edges. So I'm just trying to up some contrast which was lost. So I do not draw those lines. I'm just searching for the contrast which is already there. Okay. So what we have here, quite bright that one, quite bright that one. Actually quite noisy. But and also I do not like this one. So control hide. So something like that. So let's have a look. the general view. So in general I do like it. So I do like the detalization, I do like the oil shape, I do like, okay, oh, and it is saving. So it's time to contemplating on it. I mean, maybe there is something to do, and there is definitely should be a way to render it. Oh, by the way, let's check that out. So, because the goal today is to create a fast sketch, impressive one, maybe not saying a lot, but enough to show, enough to open up discussion. Discussion. So here, so yeah, that's what we have. Probably here I could use, so that's a very common. So for the Baroque style, when you leave here the trace of one chisel, and then from second one, which was, and there are some edges almost undistinguishable, but they give this feeling of one chisel and another one chisel, the next layer of working of the on that. So let's render it. So what do you like, by the way, this one or this one? So for me, as soon as I'm writing from the left to right, definitely this one is better, because it is kind of woof, kind of woof. Yeah, is it? Is it? The do I create this feeling, or have I created this feeling, or I'm just lying to myself? Could it be so? Let's render it. Render it and which one? This one. Ah, shift R. Pum 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 pum. So I like it as it is. Maybe so. I just will test a few others we haven't tested yet. Oh, this one. Yeah, this one. Do you like it? I like it very much. Yes. This one is great. So that's a kind of feeling I wanted to get here. And it is accentuated exactly what I wanted to accentuate. And there's dynamic here in here, and there's uncertainties, some unspoken, something you should understand by yourself. And is so I like this one, and even maybe save it, document, just remember. Oh, document, export, do not need PDF. Okay, so let's go further. What we have here, which one was that? This one? Yes. This one also not bad. Oh, oh, so that's beautiful. Nothing interesting. Oops. Uh, yeah, it shows the shape as well. So thank you for watching. I will start now to looking for how to send it to client, which of the picture will be the best one. Probably this one is quite well subtle, but only the triangle shape is. Uh, Not bad as well. This one, yeah, rough sketch. So is that enough for rough sketch? Hmm. I will test also keyshot today. Maybe keyshot knows better. Oh, not enough shadow and ah. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. This is the rough sketch of a rocaille, and I just wanted to have this kind of feeling, and so I've showed you a few elements, close look, and maybe how they sculpted. I hope that was useful and interesting. So thank you very much for watching, and yeah, this one, and so bye bye. Thank you very much. See you later.